This is New Media TV in London.
Warning! The following program contains graphics and images that some people may find disturbing and traumatizing. Some of the violent content may be too intense for some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. New Media TV.
Fair Use Act Disclaimer. Fair use copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as nonprofit, criticism, news reporting, comment, teaching, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this media or comments on this channel are those of the speakers or authors, and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos and audios may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. This channel's owner claims no copyright to said content. The broadcaster of this channel cannot be held accountable to the copyrighted content. The broadcaster of this channel is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify the accuracy of such information, but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this channel.
On this social media network, we aim to address Nigeria's socio-cultural and political problems in areas of national identity, conflict, poverty, endemic corruption, inequality, nepotism, terrorism, agitation, high level of child mortality, unemployment, poor health and education, collapsed in infrastructure, cultism, ritual killings, herdsman crisis, tribalism and home violence.
As a precaution, this channel would also like to state unequivocally that we have all rights to use in all of our media broadcasts over 700 royalty-free tunes. These entire package was purchased and delivered by email. Tuesday, January 12, 2021 at 17:17 hours in London from soundsbest.com and a paid subscription and program from Movavi Video Editor.
New Media TV. Beyond the headlines. News in its purest form. Live stream with confidence. Contact us on +44 208 180 0433, Voice over Internet Protocol. WhatsApp +44 7467 634 822. The live stream will start soon. Please like, subscribe, share and to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
This is New Media TV in London.
Yes, hi. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Yes, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, I'm actually testing a sparkling new broadcast studio just for the first time, and I hope everything will go down well. Otherwise, I can see there are no problems, just with the exception of the fact that the other two platforms, New Media TV and Hello E Magazine, I can see there are problems in those two feeds. I'm currently streaming onto YouTube and onto Facebook. But from the quality aspect of the entire stream, I can see quality, I can see sharpness, I can see greatness from the screen. The images coming out as an output is crisp, clear. Thank God for technology. Yeah, I can see that Hello E Magazine and New Media TV on Facebook is being streamed on the other studio, whereas my personal page, Frank Bello, and for the first time in a long time, I tried to actually put YouTube onto the platform because it is a new platform. Good evening to you all. Yes, today is Sunday, the 13th day of August 2023, and by the time currently in London, it is 21:47, just approaching to 10 in London. I salute you. I welcome you. Welcome to the stream. Yes, the only platform where truth hurts the powers that be. Yes, indeed, truth hurts the powers that be. They don't like it. And because they don't like us speaking truth to them, that's why they will always be in trouble with us. Yeah, I can see my personal page is doing very fine. I can see it right in front of that other system, but let me see if I can actually get hold of it as well from here, from the tablet, and then I'll tell you exactly what we really need to talk about today. Yes, we're going straight into hashtag the world in 2023, hashtag the new world order, NWO. And obviously it seems right now a lot of things, different things are actually playing up left, right and center across the whole world. Now, sorry guys, if you can't see me on the usual New Media TV and Hello E Magazine, yes, I am going to work on that technical bit, and definitely I will get around it. But the most important thing, at least for today, is the fact that the studio is working perfectly well. The CPU and everything, the bit frame, there's no lagging, everything is just crisp, nice and crisp. And I can see everything still working on the time I've been live, and obviously the position of all the gadgets, the health condition of the CPU, everything, yes, it's working perfectly. I welcome you. Unlike the previous studio, yes, if you don't comment, I will not be able to see you. If you comment, yes, I will pick up your comment from the comment box. Now, before we go into what we need to talk about, let me give you the highlights, because a lot's been happening of late. Yes, I repeat, a lot has been happening of late. We know definitely that the conflict in Ukraine is still ongoing, and because the problems, the conflict in Ukraine is ongoing, now we've got another situation whereby BRICS, I'm asking if BRICS will retaliate and then render the United States dollar useless, de-dollarization of the US dollar. Now, because of the fact that Putin invaded Ukraine, to which many people now believe that the current crisis in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, is about, really, ideally, Russia versus NATO. If that is the case, then why is America interested in Ukraine? The proxy war between the United States, to which United States is using Ukraine, and many of the Western world are using NATO as a gateway for a pariah state such as Ukraine. I think it's something that the whole world has been looking into for some time. But whether Russia versus NATO in Ukraine will escalate the war to a different level is what I cannot predict at the moment. And perhaps some political scientist and those that are right inside the international politics and international relations that are at the top echelon of the whole affairs, perhaps they might be able to see what you and I are unable to see. Now, apart from the fact that Ukraine is a pariah state in this conflict, because obviously Russia is not comfortable for NATO to come close to its doorstep in Ukraine. So also as America was not comfortable seeing Russia in Cuba coming close to them. Now, for me, I see this war between Russia and Ukraine as a white man's palaver. It is not a black man's palaver. Now, perhaps because we live in an information age, but depending on the different types of information that each and everybody wants to acquire, Now, some people are interested in acquiring information about, sex, this, do that. Some people are not really bothered about the consequences and the outcome of the actions between Ukraine, NATO, United States, China, and perhaps for them to be able to see far and wide if you and I, we will survive the turbulence that is ravaging the entire whole world. What if Vladimir Putin decides, just like that, to now want to use nuclear weapon in this conflict? Will America retaliate? Who is going to be the first? The world is in a mess at the moment. You guys believe it, that the entire whole world is in a complete mess, screwed up, completely screwed up. Oh yes, completely screwed up. Now, for me, I'm just checking what is happening in here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I will check all those later. They're just giving me the health status of everything. For those of you who are probably, I can see on my personal page, some people are watching it. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, because unlike the previous studio, unless you comment, although I've activated the chat section in this new studio, but it is so tiny as opposed to the previous one. I've still got some work to do. Okay, now USA, Taiwan versus China in South China Sea. What is happening? For me, I see this problem of Taiwan as a direct consequence of Vladimir Putin's action in Ukraine. Now, China is closely monitoring exactly all the steps that Vladimir Putin is taking against Ukraine. And China is hell-bent on the fact that they too, whether America likes it or not, they are going to take over Taiwan. Now, we've got Russia versus NATO and the rest of the West in Ukraine. South China Sea is brewing up with China hell-bent upon taking over Taiwan because they see Taiwan as part and parcel of their territory. Now, China, they've been a supporter of Vladimir Putin in the invasion of Ukraine. But China, they've been very, very careful. Now, don't forget, all of these people, they've got one common denominator. China, Russia, NATO, which is the combination of America and the rest of Western Europe. There's one common denominator that unites each and every one of them. Africa. 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 That is exactly where all these people are now heading. So we've got conflict in Europe. Conflict is going to spread very gradually to Asia. Now the same conflict is now coming straight home to Mother Africa. Oh yes. Oh yes. It's coming straight home. Niger, France, head-on confrontation. Now, before coming live, I gathered through news reporting and news gathering that North Korea, did you hear that? North Korea, Kim Jong-un has decided to come to the rescue of Burkina Faso. In fact, I gathered that Burkina Faso, they've established a diplomatic relations with the North Korea, and Burkina Faso, they've appointed an envoy, a diplomat to the North Korea. So now, here is the problem. ECOWAS wants to wage war against Niger, led by Nigeria. If that is the case, Russia is interested in Africa, in that region, in the Sahel. America is interested in that region. France, as we all know, uranium, large deposit of uranium in Niger Republic. France won't let go because France is hell bent, I repeat, hell bent on the fact that they will strike Niger. But then and again, in Burkina Faso, North Korea is coming to their rescue. Now, I have been thinking, could this mean Africa could be the potential continent that will trigger the Third World War? And maybe the Third World War is not going to be triggered even in Europe or Asia. India is in Africa. China's presence in Africa is unprecedented at the moment. Make no mistakes. America will not let go. And don't forget, British, they've got their own portion of the slice of the cake in Africa. At least along the west coast of Africa, we've got Nigeria, we've got Ghana, we've got Sierra Leone, we've got the Gambia. Well, Liberia is America. Of all the countries on the west coast of Africa, Nigeria, British colony. Ghana, British colony. Sierra Leone, British colony. And then Gambia, British colony. So out of the, well, used to be 16 countries, maybe Cameroon, they've now joined Central Africa, but Cameroon used to be part and parcel of the ECOWAS as well before. But I think right now they're about 15 because Cameroon is gone far more into Central Africa. 15 of them. Out of the 15 countries that made up ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African State, we've got 4 British colony. The rest are French colony. And when you look at the differences between the English-speaking British colony and that is the British-controlled countries and the French-controlled countries, you will discover that there are many of the British-controlled territories in West Africa or around the whole world are fairly stable in terms of their economic growth and development. The only problem with the British colonization was after colonization, then came new colonization. So is Niger Republic really going to be the real battleground for the way Africa will forge ahead in this new order? I'm only asking. Russia, China, very close to one another. The question is, will the United States of America be able to face Russia and China at the same time in a war? If the World War, the Third World War, should break out, will America, NATO, and the rest of the Western Europe, will they be able to handle Russia and China? What are the consequences for the United States? What are the consequences? You see, the last time in one of the previous podcasts, I made it known to each and every one of you that black people we don't really have any economic power. I think for simplicity's sake, I am going to hold on to that because that is a long story. This is a test broadcast on how I believe I can feel how the new studio should perform, although it is not all that perfect, but I am going to perfect everything if I come off any moment from now. So today's Sunday, the 13th day of August 2023. Unfortunately, guys, you've not been seeing me of late. Yes, I've got problems of my own too, especially within the family, and well, again, within my family, again, we lost somebody else again to the cold hands of death on Friday. She died of cancer again. So it's not been very easy, but because you've not been seeing me of late, that was why. Because we've been coming in and out of the hospital and just to check her, but eventually she gave up. But I think it is very good because that she's gone, because the pain was just too much. I mean, I was even praying because the moment we were called about 3 weeks ago that they've taken the treatment to the highest level of how they can treat a cancer patient, and that right now they cannot go further anymore because there is no other treatment that is medical for you. Anyway, guys, this is a test broadcast. I'm going to perfect the studio. I'm going to perfect it, and when I make those perfection, I'll retest again. I think I know where the problem is because I can see RRR on Hello E Magazine and No Media TV. So I'll try to adjust and then correct that. Guys, the time currently in London is 22:08 and I've been live for the last 30 minutes. I promise it's a very good quality in terms of its output, and if this is the case, then I better might as well just stick to this. Guys, we're just approaching new week coming ahead, and I wish you all the very best, and until that moment again when we shall all meet again, I wish you all the best, and we will meet in perfect condition and in good health. Take good care of yourselves, and God bless you. Have a nice week, and I'll see you then. Thank you. Good night.